Hey Dave, how are you?
Doing well, Juan.
We saw that you and the rest of the team kind of went up over there to the Jackie Robinson statue. What was that moment like for you and the team?
It was great. It was really, it was great. Anytime you can get, player, staff, front office, ownership all together with a central kind of thought, a moment, recognition of Jackie on Jackie Robinson Day. I thought it was special. It's something that we as the Dodgers plan on doing every year as far as gathering around the statue to pay our respects, our love for Jackie and his legacy. So, as a Dodger wearing the 42 jersey today, bringing his name and legacy to life is something we're looking forward to.
And I also saw that you're donating your game day salary to the Player Alliance. Was that just a pretty easy decision for you?
Yeah, it was. I think Players Alliance is doing a lot of good for young kids of color, and when it's really good to see that players have skin in the game as far as the sweat equity and trying to execute to give back. So if I can, me and my wife can do our part to help that, I think that's a good thing.
And as far as the field, did Bruce Dart throw today? Did everything go okay with him?
He's throwing tonight.
Okay, gotcha. And you said if everything goes well, he'll join you guys on the
correct, and on the taxi, and we'll see about activation. Correct.
And Cody, is he scheduled to do anything today? Anything different?
He did some work in the pool, some running in the pool. So I don't know what his plan is, but I'm sure it's going to be, a little bit more aggressive, but that's more on the training staff right now.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Kirsten Watson. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. If you would be willing to share, would you be okay just kind of sharing us a little bit about the message that you had with your team this afternoon over at the statue?
It was just kind of painting a picture. I think we all know that the Jackie Robinson, the name, the 42 in every ballpark, but just trying to give people context on his life and his legacy and what he meant to not only people of color in baseball, outside of baseball, being treated fairly, being respected, not always being liked, but being determined and doing and saying and fighting for what's right. So I think that we all identify, in uniform as ball players, but that's just not who we are. And that's not who Jackie was. And so I've had the pleasure of knowing Sharon and Rachel and David and the Robinson family. So to just kind of shed a little light to our players on who Jackie was, I thought was helpful to our guys.
And you mentioned legacy. As a Black and Japanese man who's already made such impact on this game, what is the legacy that you hope to leave behind?
Yeah, I don't know, Kirsten. I think that for me, I just feel very fortunate to bring joy, gratitude, passion, love for the game, try to make people around me better, and in turn, it makes me better. So, I'm kind of admired in it right now. So, I don't know. I guess when we look back on, my last day, we can talk about this later.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead.
Dave, just wanted to double check. Is it a planned day off for Corey Seager?
It is a planned day off, and Mookie as well.
And then speaking of Mookie, he was, taking some ground balls to third. I know he does that from time to time, but does he place on your third base depth chart somewhere, or is that just a thing to sort of keep him fresh?
Keep him fresh. He kind of likes to move around the diamond. It's good with his hands, his footwork.
Thanks, Dave.
Next question is from Joe Painter Lopez. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you. Two questions for you. First one, whose idea was it to go out to the statue? Was it a player? Was it you? Do you know?
No, it was the entire organization. I think Lon and Stan kind of drove it and ran it by me. I thought it was a great idea. And, the most important part of it is that the players and the staff understood the importance of it. So it was received really well. The message to kind of get us all together and to talk about Jackie was great.
Okay. And then with Julio Urias, just from obviously where he left off of from last year, getting the last out to clinch the World Series title, what he's, then just kind of seemingly built on that momentum and how he's started this year. What do you like about, from that point to what he's continued to do now?
Well, he's a world champion. He converted the last out in a World Series. And so that right there, I think that he's continually grown every year. But now to ultimately reach that pinnacle, I think just adds or cements the confidence that he's already had. And now you layer in the skill set, the maturity, all that is kind of what we're seeing right now.
Thank you.
Next question is from JP Hoornstra. Go ahead.
Dave, I know that Corey Seager in the past has been a tough sell on days off. Between him and Mookie, which player is the more stubborn about coming out of the lineup for a maintenance day?
I think they all want to play, JP. It's not, and that's a good thing for me to have guys that want to be out there. And I think for Mookie, Corey, looking at the schedule and trying to appreciate a long season, to get ahead of it, to keep them fresh, I think is important. And we have a lot of good players. So neither one is thrilled about it, but they're smart players, and they both understand it.
Generally speaking, with players being aware that this year's schedule is so much longer than last year's, has the buy-in on maintenance days been a little bit easier than usual?
Considerably easier, because it's something we talked about this winter. We talked about in spring training, and when you look at our roster, there's a lot of talented players. So, superstar players, you talk about Corey and Mookie, but we still got a lot of good players that can help us win a baseball game.
Last one for me. Are the next 3 games against the Padres all hands on deck?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Dave.
You got it.
You got time for one more. Go ahead, DG.
Hey, Dave, best guesstimate, how many people join you for the thing out at the Jackie statue today?
Best guess, 75.
Oh, cool. And is there any chance of Cody playing this weekend?
I'm not going to say 0, but it's close to that number.
Okay.